At just 13 years old, he sat in that courtroom wearing his victim's blood-stained watch, a grotesque trophy he'd hidden for weeks and decided to wear on the day he thought he'd walk free. While prosecutors detailed how he'd spent 3 hours torturing an innocent man to death, the boy yawned. When the victim's mother collapsed in screams of anguish, he smirked. And when the judge asked if he understood the severity of his crimes, he leaned into the microphone and said, "I understand I'm the youngest person to ever do what I did, and that makes me special." The courtroom erupted in chaos, but the nightmare was just beginning. This wasn't just a murder trial. It was the unmasking of a monster who'd been hiding in plain sight, and the most devastating testimony wouldn't come from detectives or forensic experts, but from the one person who'd seen the warning signs for years and done nothing: his own mother, who was about to stand up and destroy her son in front of the world, finally admitting the terrifying truth she'd been protecting for over a decade. The discovery of Michael Torres's body in an abandoned Phoenix warehouse shocked even veteran detectives. The 26-year-old social worker hadn't just been killed, he'd been systematically tortured over 3 hours with surgical precision. Michael had dedicated his life to helping troubled teenagers at the Phoenix Youth Intervention Center, believing no child was beyond redemption. That belief would cost him everything. The perpetrator was 13-year-old Tyler Brennan, a quiet 8th grader from a wealthy Scottsdale family. Beneath his unremarkable exterior, Tyler had spent years preparing to kill, researching torture techniques, and practicing on dozens of animals. He'd identified Michael as the perfect victim, exploiting the social worker's compassion by faking a crisis. When Michael agreed to meet him at what Tyler claimed would be a more comfortable location, he walked into a carefully prepared trap. But Tyler made a critical mistake. Michael's phone, knocked away during the attack, recorded everything. Tyler's calm voice filled the audio, explaining his methods like a documentary narrator. "I need to pace myself better next time. The goal is to extend the experience, not rush through it." The casual reference to "next time" sent chills through investigators. This wasn't a one-time act. It was a debut. The breakthrough came from a single hair on Michael's jacket. The DNA matched Tyler Brennan's, whose sample was in the system from a school knife incident his parents' attorney had made disappear. Detective James Rodriguez couldn't believe he was investigating a middle school student for murder. The search of Tyler's bedroom revealed horrors hidden in an air vent. Journals filled with torture fantasies dating back years, photographs of dead animals arranged in jars with dates and methods, and trophies including Michael's medical alert bracelet. Most damning was Tyler's laptop containing videos of his escalating violence, culminating in footage of Michael's murder shot from multiple camera angles, like a film production. Tyler's interrogation shocked seasoned detectives. He showed no fear. Instead, he seemed relieved to finally discuss his work. "I chose Michael because social workers have to believe children are fundamentally good. That belief made him vulnerable," he explained casually. When asked if he felt remorse, he smiled. "Remorse would mean I think I did something wrong, but I don't. That's power in its purest form, deciding when another person's story ends. Most people will never know what that feels like. I do. So no, I don't feel remorse. I feel proud." The investigation uncovered something even more disturbing. Tyler's 11-year-old sister Emma had tried desperately to warn people for years. She'd told her mother repeatedly that Tyler scared her, that he'd shown her pictures of dead animals and threatened her. Each time, Patricia Brennan dismissed her concerns, insisting Tyler was just different. When Emma approached teachers, they contacted the parents, who assured them Emma was being dramatic. Every single adult had failed to listen. At trial, the evidence was overwhelming. But what devastated the jury most was Tyler's behavior. He watched video of his own crime with focused attention, smiling at particularly articulate portions of his narration. When witnesses testified about warning signs, he smirked. He showed absolutely no remorse. Emma's testimony was heartbreaking. She said, "I tried to tell people. I told Mommy that Tyler scared me, but she said I was being dramatic. I wasn't. I was telling the truth, and nobody believed me." Tyler watched his sister with mild curiosity, as if she were a stranger, showing no recognition that he'd terrorized her for years. The defense argued Tyler suffered from psychopathy, a condition that made empathy impossible. But experts admitted he fully understood murder was wrong and had sophisticated planning abilities. He simply didn't care. One expert testified, Tyler Brennan represents an extreme risk for future violence. If released, he will almost certainly kill again. Then came the moment that destroyed any remaining sympathy. The defense put Tyler's mother on the stand. Patricia tried to paint her son as misunderstood, but prosecutor Rebecca Morrison systematically dismantled her denials, forcing her to confront every ignored warning sign. Morrison's final question broke her. Mrs. Brennan, you've heard the evidence. You've watched your son show no remorse. Do you still believe Tyler is just a misunderstood child? Patricia looked at her son, and something shattered inside her. She said, I don't know what he is anymore. I look at him and I don't see the child I raised. Emma tried to tell me. She tried so many times and I didn't listen. But he became whatever he is now, and I let it happen. God help me. I let it happen. Tyler showed no reaction to his mother's breakdown. He simply watched her cry with mild interest. The jury visibly recoiled. They'd seen proof he lacked any spark of humanity. After deliberating just 3 hours, the jury found Tyler guilty. But at sentencing, he made his final, unforgivable mistake. As Maria Torres, Michael's mother, described her nightmares about her son's death, Tyler Brennan laughed, a genuine laugh of amusement. Maria stopped mid-sentence, fury taking over. You think this is funny? My son's murder is entertaining to you? Judge Foster ordered him removed. As Tyler was let out, he rolled his eyes theatrically. Then, passing Michael's family, he looked directly at Maria Torres and smiled. A deliberate message. I'm not sorry. I enjoyed it. And your pain means nothing to me. Judge Foster's sentence was devastating. She said, I have never witnessed anything approaching this level of depravity. You are 13 years old, which would normally warrant leniency, but you are not a normal child. You will be sentenced to life with possibility of parole after 25 years. However, my recommendation is that you should never be released. You will be 38 before you're even eligible. You will miss your entire childhood and youth. You will never know freedom again. For the first time, Tyler's mask cracked. Not with remorse, but with shock and rage. He began screaming, throwing himself against walls, the tantrum of a narcissist who had finally lost control. 25 years later, Tyler appeared before the parole board, polished and practiced. He said, I was a sick child, but I'm not that child anymore. I've completed treatment programs. I've earned degrees. I believe I can honor Michael's memory by becoming better. But the board had recorded audio of Tyler discussing his strategy with another inmate. I'll give them the performance they want. Once I'm out, I'll be more careful. The key is patience. When they played the recording, Tyler's mask cracked with rage. Maria Torres, now 75, addressed him. You're still planning to kill. Don't let this monster out. The board unanimously denied parole. Tyler lunged at them, screaming, You can't keep me here forever! But they could, and they did. Tyler Brennan remains in prison today, now in his 50s. His second parole hearing resulted in another denial. Prison records show continued violent ideation and manipulation attempts. One expert wrote, Tyler at 50 is essentially the same person he was at 13. The fundamental deficit, complete absence of empathy, remains unchanged. Prison guards describe an eerie experience interacting with him. One explained, it's like talking to a robot programmed to mimic human behavior. He says the right words, but there's something missing. You can feel the absence of whatever makes us human. Tyler's sister Emma wrote a memoir becoming an important resource for families dealing with psychopathic children. She wrote, I tried to tell people about Tyler. I begged them to listen, and now Michael Torres is dead. It was too late because nobody wants to accept that sometimes monsters really do exist, and sometimes they look like children. Michael Torres' family established a foundation in his name, training professionals to recognize warning signs in children. Michael believed in second chances, and he was right about most kids. But Tyler was a predator.
We work to give second chances to kids who deserve them while learning to recognize the rare ones who don't, the ones who will use our compassion as a weapon. The Phoenix Youth Center still bears Michael's name. Every year, a memorial service honors his dedication to helping at-risk youth. Judge Foster reflected before retirement. When I looked into that child's eyes, I saw the complete absence of humanity. He was 13 and had already decided other people weren't real to him. That's not something that changes. Keeping him in prison isn't punishment. It's the only responsible thing society can do. The story of Tyler Brennan serves as a dark reminder that evil can come in any package, that age is not always a shield, and that sometimes society encounters someone simply too dangerous to ever be freed. But for Michael Torres's family and the Phoenix community, Tyler's story is secondary to Michael's.
But for Michael Torres's family and the Phoenix community, Tyler's story is secondary to Michael's. They ensure people remember not just the monster who took a life, but the good man whose life was taken, a social worker who believed in redemption, dedicated his life to helping troubled youth, and whose faith in human goodness cost him everything. That is Michael Torres's legacy, and it endures as a story about service, sacrifice, and the power of compassion, even in the face of incomprehensible evil.